Today we're putting aside all the mechanical repairs the truck actually needs, and we're going to be installing a new radio from Reversion Raceworks. That's a 1.5 radio for 95 to 02 Silverados. So we're going to get going on that today, see how it goes. Should be a pretty simple install. Allow me to introduce the chicken nugget. This is the harness that comes with the radio. This is going to be pretty simple to install to the other harness that comes with the kit that plugs into the GM harness that comes out of your truck. We're going to be using all of the wires on this harness, I think, except for 3 or 4 of them. But all of them are color-coded, so they're going to match up right perfect to the truck harness side adapter. So literally just going to be matching up color for color and cutting back the 3 or 4 that you're not going to end up using. It's pretty simple, kind of hard to mess up. You can use butt connectors on these. I prefer to use those actually. I just didn't have any at this time, so I ended up soldering all of them together just because I had a bunch of solder and heat shrink, but I didn't have butt connectors, so that's what we ended up doing on this harness. But it's totally acceptable to just use butt connectors on them. You can see off to the left side, there's the 3 wires that didn't end up getting used. They're the only 3 wires that don't have a color matching wire on the GM harness side. So you can just kind of stagger cut them back and tape them up into the harness. It does actually kind of pain me a little bit to get rid of the stock radio. I am a huge fan of stock radio, interior looking cars, everything stock in the interior. I really do like the look of this one. It's very 2000s obviously, so I don't really want to put a touchscreen in here, but the radio reception on this radio is so bad and the output from it is so bad that it's like listening to AM radio all the time. It's constantly fading in and out. Sometimes half the speakers don't work, sometimes half of them do. Half of the lights on it don't work. So we're going to try this one out, at least for a little while. If I don't like it, then we can put the stock one back in. But so if you've done some research, you know that this is a 1.5 radio, not a double DIN. Most of the touch screens on the market nowadays are double DIN, the big, real big screens, and they don't fit inside of this bezel. And you can get a new bezel, this whole trim piece here, to replace it to get a double DIN radio in this section. And that's fine, but part of that problem for me is that they don't make that bezel in this tan color. And I'm definitely not getting rid of the tan as part of the chicken nuggets overall amazing aesthetics. So Reversion Raceworks finally came out with a 1.5 radio set up for the car, which is pretty cool. So that we're going to be putting this radio in here in its place, and it should fit into its place with the factory bezel with the nice 3D printed piece that they make for it to slide into the factory radio slot. So that's pretty cool. our super fancy plug that we made. It's also a antenna adapter that you have to get. Get our new fancy radio. There's a bunch of other stuff that comes with this kit. I don't think I'm going to be using any of it. USB input, don't plan on using. GPS antenna, don't plan on using. I just want to use CarPlay, and my phone it'll use my phone's GPS signal. It's one for a backup camera, don't have that. It's another one for a microphone. I don't think I'm going to use that. I'll just pick up my phone if I'm going to talk to it. It's probably not super great anyway. So we're just going to plug it in with the standard harness and antenna and see what we get first. So it's already turning on. Clips in real nice. So it turned on as soon as I plugged it in. So at least it works. Let's see if we get any kind of radio reception or anything right off the bat. We got sound, so that's good. I'll have to go through the settings and find out how to turn off that annoying beep. But it looks like it works, so that's good right off the bat. Probably gonna have to take that off video and see if I can hook my phone up to it and get CarPlay to work. So phone paired right up to it first try, went right into CarPlay. Interface does take a little bit of getting used to, finding out where to go for CarPlay and adjusting all the sound settings. The sound wasn't that great until you start playing with the, I think it's called DSP on the home screen, all the sound settings, but it can be a lot better. But like I said, CarPlay hooked right up, goes through all my apps just fine, everything works pretty good. It's actually pretty responsive. So it seems like a little bit smoother than it looks like here in the video, but it is actually pretty smooth considering it's like a cheaper end unit. But I'm going to go drive around with it for the day and report back to you with what I think. Been driving the truck around all day, using it, getting it out of the car, getting back in. It repairs just fine immediately to Apple CarPlay. All the functions seem to work really well. The sound quality is definitely twice as good as it was with the stock radio. The radio reception is also really good. The maps work really well too. It looks like it's lagging a little bit there, but it only kind of does that the first time you hit it. After that, it does seem to work just fine. But like I said, it is pretty responsive. The sound quality is good. The screen quality is good. I think it looks good in the dash there. I did take the radio back out and install one of the sub harnesses and plug the microphone into it, and just mounted it right there so that I can make Apple CarPlay text messages and phone calls with it. I did make a test call with it, and it seemed to sound okay. So the microphone plugs into one of the other sub harnesses that comes with the radio, and then plugs into the radio. But overall, 10 out of 10 upgrade. Highly recommend it. Definitely makes driving it around a little bit more enjoyable. So I'm going to put a link to where I got it from in the description. They also make this same kit for F-bodies, and I also have an F-body, a 99 Trans Am. So Reversion Raceworks, if you want to sponsor me another radio, I'll do another video. That'd be sick. Hit me up. Later, guys.